Very good morning, children. I'm Deepa, your physical science teacher from Dr. B Science School. I hope all are fine and going through the revision well, doing the revision well. Okay. So in previous two videos, we have done the revision on two chapters, acids, bases and salts and refraction of light at plane surfaces. Now refraction, in this video, we are going to do the revision of refraction of light at curved surfaces. Just briefly a summary I will explain. It's your responsibility to go through the entire textbook and workbook, everything you should prepare. Okay, children? Now coming to this chapter, in previous video we have learned about refraction of light at plane surfaces. In that we learned what is meant by refraction, isn't it? And how the light ray will bend when it moves from denser medium to rarer medium and rarer medium to denser medium. And also we learned critical angle, total internal reflection and mirrors and applications of this total internal reflection. All that we learned in our previous chapter. So we completely what all we learned in previous chapter is only about plane surfaces. Now here in this chapter what we learned is about curved surfaces, isn't it? So what are the curved surfaces and all, just briefly we shall revise. So this first activity already we have seen about the curved surface and what is normal ray and what is principal axis. I hope you all remembered that, isn't it? Suppose the surface is curved surface like a glass, which the activity also we have seen, isn't it, in the previous video. Okay, and the center of the, this curve is the part of a sphere and curve is the part of a sphere and the center of the sphere is called center of curvature and the midpoint of the curve is called pole and a line joining pole to center of curvature is called principal axis. It is called principal axis. It is an imaginary line. Imaginary line joining pole to center of curvature is called principal axis and any ray passing through the center, any ray passing touching the center is called normal. It is the normal ray. And already we have learned that ray passing through C. What is that ray passing through C called? It is normal ray. So there will be no deviation in its path. And the ray passing through pole, the ray passing through C do not have any deviation in its path. It will go in a straight path. In the same way, the ray passing through pole means nothing but it is also a normal because it is also passing through center of curvature. So it also will not deviate its path, but it will go in a straight path. Okay, and same here different cases we have learnt if you remember. See on your textbook figure 4a, case 1, ray travelling parallel to principal axis strikes a convex surface. What is this surface? Convex surface passing parallel to principal axis and striking a convex surface passes from rarer medium to denser medium. And if the ray passing from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal and meets the principal axis at a point. Whereas case 2, ray travelling parallel to the principal axis strikes a convex surface and passes from denser medium to rarer medium. That is what 4b. You see how it is moving. When it is passing from denser to rarer medium, it is moving away from the normal, in which that ray do not touch the principal axis in the rarer medium, but it can touch the principal axis only when it is extended backwards. In the same way, case 3, a ray travelling parallel to the principal axis strikes a concave surface and passes from rarer medium to denser medium. You observe here, passing rarer to denser medium. touching the concave surface, and when passing from rarer to denser medium, the ray is touching the principal axis at a point. Case 4, a ray traveling parallel to the principal axis strikes a concave surface and passes from rarer to denser medium. Sorry, here case 3 ray is passing from denser medium to rarer medium. Then it is touching the principal axis when it touches the concave surface. Whereas case 4, a ray touching the concave surface and passing from rarer to denser medium. Then it bends towards the normal, which do not touch the, it cannot touch the principal axis in denser medium, but it will touch the principal axis only when it is extended backwards. These are the different cases which we already learned. Okay. And the point where refracted ray intersects the axis in all the cases is called, where this refracted ray is intersecting the principal axis, that point is called focal point or focus. Next we have learned image formation, derivation of curved surface formula. So all these derivations, just you go through that. Okay, in this the most important is formula. Derivation for you to understand only. Generally in exams is not asking the derivations. You will never ask derivations, but that formula is very important and the problems based on that formula are very important. Okay children, so now image formation formula, which is a very important one. N2 by V minus N1 by U equal to N2 minus N1 by R. This is the formula for image formation. For image formation for curved surfaces. This is for curved surface, where N2 is the diffractive index of second medium and V is the image distance. N1 is the diffractive index of first medium and U is the object distance. N2 minus N1 by R is the radius. Clear children? Okay, then what about plane surface? This is for curved surface. Plane surface, will the formula remain same? No. Then what is the formula? For plane surface N2 by V equal to N1 by U, because for plane surface R will be at infinity. So it will become N2 minus N1 by infinity, and we know that anything by infinity will become 0. So this entire value will become 0 and minus N1 by U goes that side. So for image formation by plane surface, formula is N2 by V equal to N1 by U. Clear? This is about image formation. And coming to our next topic, lenses. How many types of lenses we learned? Here mostly 5 types of lenses we learned. They are biconvex lens, which this convex lens at the middle it is thick. Okay, in the middle it is thick and at the edges it will be thin. This is biconvex lens. This is biconcave lens. Both surfaces are concave, which in the middle it is thin and at the edges it will be thick. Okay, these are biconcave lens. And next one is plano-convex lens. One of the surface is plane and the second surface is convex. It is called plano-convex lens and plano-concave lens. First surface is plane and second surface is concave. It is plano-convex lens, concave lens, and the final one is concavo-convex lens. Like half moon it will be. Concavo-convex lens. First surface is concave and second surface is convex. So are some of the types of lens. Now, how to find the focal length of the lens? What is meant by focal point first of all? As we learned 2 types of lens, convex lens and concave lens. So for convex lens, let us consider convex lens, and when all the incident rays are parallel to each other, okay, when all the incident rays are parallel to each other, this is principal axis. P, optic center, and okay, we will learn about this terminology. We will discuss about this. Now, before going to this, first let us discuss some of the terminology. If we consider convex lens, it has two curved surfaces. Okay, each curved surface is part of each sphere. Two curved surfaces are parts of two different spheres. Two curved surfaces is the part of two different spheres. So this is the first curved surface and sphere. So it is center of curvature C1 and here will be C2. Okay, and the line joining this C1 and C2 is principal axis. Whereas if we consider concave lens, first curved surface is this and this is the sphere first curved surface. So C1 will be this side and C2 will be this side. For convex surface C1 that side, C2 this side. Concave surface C1 this side and C2 this side. Concave lens. Okay children, so here you will get C1 and here C2. Now all the incident rays are parallel to the principal axis and parallel to each other when the object is at infinity. Then what will happen? All the refracted rays will converge at a point. You can see all the refracted rays will bend in such a way as there is change in the medium. All the refracted rays will bend in such a way that they will converge at a point. That point is called focus. Okay, so for convex lens, all the incident rays when they are parallel to each other, then where the refracted rays will converge at a point, that point is called focus. Whereas for concave lens, what will happen? All the incident rays when object is at infinity, they are parallel to each other. Now what will happen? All the refracted rays will diverge. These are the refracted rays which will diverge. Now extend that refracted rays backwards. You will observe that when they are extended backwards, they will meet at a point. That point is focus. Means for convex lens, all the incident rays when they are parallel to each other, they will converge at a point. That point is focus. Whereas for concave lens, all the refracted rays will diverge from a point. That point is called focus or focal point. And the distance between focal point and optic center, the distance between focal point and optic center P, the distance between these two is called focal length, represented with small f. Focal point is represented with capital F and focal length is represented with small f. So this C1 and C2 can also be represented as 2F1 and 2F2 because this F will be exactly in between optic center and center of curvature. Okay, exactly in between. So the C1 can also be represented as 2F1 and C2 can also be represented as 2F2. Okay, and for drawing the ray diagrams, we need not draw this convex lens and concave lens always. Convex lens is represented with symbol. This is the symbol for convex lens. Why this symbol? Already I told you. It shows the rays are converging. Okay, for concave lens, the symbol is rays are diverging. So concave lens are diverging lens and convex lens are converging lens. Clear? And also we learned behavior of certain light rays. Situation 1, ray passing along the principal axis will not deviate its path, but it will go in a straight line for both convex as well as concave lens. Situation 2, ray passing through the optic center will not deviate its path, it will go in a straight line for both convex as well as concave lens. Situation 3, rays traveling parallel to the principal axis. For convex lens, they will converge at focus. For concave lens, they will diverge from focus. Situation 4, ray passing through focus. Then all the refracted rays will be parallel to the principal axis. If the rays pass through the focus, refracted rays will be parallel to the principal axis for convex lens, and for concave lens also they seem to be parallel to from the principal axis. And the last one, when rays are making certain angle with the principal axis, incident rays making certain angle with the principal axis, all the refracted rays will meet at a point on where? Focal plane. On focal plane. Or for concave lens, all the refracted rays will diverge from a point on focal plane. What is focal plane? Focal plane is the plane perpendicular to the principal axis at a focus. Perpendicular to focus, the plane what is there, it is called focal plane. These are the situations. And now the ray diagrams, which are very important. Object at infinity. When object is at infinity, very important, these ray diagrams. Object is at infinity, then the refracted rays for convex lens. Here we are doing the ray diagrams only for convex lens. First, object at infinity. Convex lens symbol is enough, no need of full diagram. This is principal axis. When object at infinity, all the incident rays are parallel to each other and parallel to principal axis. And here C1 are 2F1, C2, F1, here F2. So all the refracted rays will be passing through the focus. Okay, this is object at infinity. So image will be point sized image is formed on focus for object at infinity. Next, object placed beyond C2. Beyond C2. C2, C1, F1, F2. Object is beyond C2. Two rays you will consider from behavior of light rays. What are the two rays? One is parallel to principal axis and passing through focus. Another one passing through the optic center without any deviation in its path. Object beyond the center of curvature is. So no deviation in its path when it is passing through optic center. So where you are getting the image? Image is formed between C1 and F1. So a real image is formed. Okay, real, inverted and diminished image is formed between F1 and C1. Next, object on C2. Object is coming close to the principal axis, near to the lens. Then the image will be moving far from the lens. So object is on C2. Then where the image will form? Optic center, C1, F1, C2, F2. Object is on C2. Parallel to principal axis, passing through focus. Another one passing through optic center. So you can see here, you will get the image is formed on C1. When object is on C2, image is formed on C1. So real, inverted and same size image is formed on C1. And next object still coming close between C2 and F2. Just rough diagrams I am drawing, you should draw neatly. F2, C2, C1, F1. Object is in between C2 and F2. Two rays. One is parallel to principal axis and passing through focus. Another one passing through optic center without any deviation in its path. See here. Here they are meeting both the refracted rays. So this is the image. So the real, inverted and enlarged, magnified image is formed beyond C1. Okay. And next comes on F2. On focus it came. Then the same two rays, C2, F2, F1, C1. On F2, image is on, object is on F2, the same two rays. Now you can see both the rays. Okay. So where they both will meet? Somewhere at infinity. So object is at infinity. And whereas the last one, very important one, object between F2 and P, optic center and focus. What type of image you will get? Virtual image. Object is in between F2 and P. One is parallel to principal axis and passing through focus. Another one passing through optic center. Both are completely parallel rays, which they cannot converge at any point that side. So extend both the refracted rays backwards. You extend both the refracted rays backwards, then they will meet at a point and the image will be formed here. What type of image? It is virtual image. For all the other cases, image formed is real image, but when object is between focus and pole, optic center, the image formed is virtual and erect image. Virtual, erect and enlarged. Big image is formed. That's why these lenses are used by ENT specialists. Okay, and even in telescopes and all this will be used. Then what about concave lens? Irrespective of the position of the object, concave lens will always form only virtual and diminished image. Virtual, erect and diminished image, because always the rays will diverge. For concave lens, C1 will be this side, C2 will be this side, C1 that side. So anywhere you can take the object. Wherever the object is placed, consider the two rays as the two rays will diverge. See, this is one refracted ray, this is one refracted ray, isn't it? So extend this refracted ray backwards, which it will meet at focus, and here is the place where the two refracted rays are meeting. This is the place of formation of image. So observe this image and this image formed. Concave lens also form virtual image, but it forms virtual, erect and diminished image, whereas convex lens always form, not always, if the object is placed between focus and optic center, it forms virtual, erect and enlarged image. Clear, children? These are our ray diagrams, which are very, very important. Next, lab activity to find about the focal length. How to find activity is given. Simple activity, you can read that. Next, the most important one is lens formula and lens makers formula. As I told, derivation is not Must, because derivation only you should understand the derivation enough. Never he is asking in the exam. But formula is very important and problems based on the formula is very important. What is Lenz's formula? 1 by V minus 1 by U equal to 1 by F. That is Lenz's formula. I am erasing this one. Lenz's formula. What is Lenz's formula? 1 by F equal to 1 by V minus 1 by U. This is Lenz's formula. F is focal length of the lens, V is the image distance and U is the object distance. Okay, so many problems we have already done which are very important based on this formula. And next comes this activity 2, which is very important activity, 4 marks question. Okay, we will take a lens whose focal length is known. Okay, consider a convex lens whose focal length is known and take a cylindrical vessel or a glass tumbler which its length should be more than the focal length of the lens, at least 3 times more than the focal length of lens. Means suppose the focal length of lens is some 15 centimeters, then the length of this tumbler should be 3 times more minimum. Means it should be 45 or 50 centimeters height of the tumbler you should take. Okay children, and place a stone at the bottom of the tumbler and half of the 3/4 of the tumbler. Okay, small disturbance children, let us continue. Okay, so 3/4 is filled with water and now hold this lens using a circular lens holder. Using circular lens holder, place this convex lens and keep the lens, okay, below the focal length. At focal length, exactly at a distance equal to focal length or less than the focal length of the lens. Place it at a distance from the stone. Then can we see the stone from the lens or not? Because the object is on F or between F and P, then it forms a virtual image which we can see with our eye. The image can be seen inside the lens. So you can see the stone from the lens. Now slowly bring it height, increase the height of this lens from the stone. Even then you are able to observe the stone. So what you understood from this? The focal length has changed for the same lens when it is placed in water. Outside the air it is 15 centimeters. Now you are bringing above 15 centimeters, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Even then you are able to see the stone, means the focal length has changed. Understood? So from this what you understood? Focal length depends on the medium, surrounding medium. Clear? That is what this activity. And the last, the most important formula, as I told, is lens maker's formula. Lens maker's formula. This also derivation only to understand formula is very important. Now what is lens maker's formula? 1 by F equal to n minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2, where F is the focal length and n is the refractive index of the lens and R1 and R2 are the radii of curvatures of the lens. Clear children? Using this formula also many problems we have already done. So this is briefly the summary of this chapter, refraction of light at curved surfaces. I hope I am clear with this and you should practice the problems. Okay children, you will practice all the problems and